So, welcome to the podcast, Bala at Identity First. And there's a lot of ground to cover today from Singapore tech scene to the future of AI. And we also wanted to understand, and let's just jump into the right question right now to begin with. Basically, you moved from a structured world of banking to your unpredictable world of entrepreneurship, right? So, what was the motivation behind this shift, right? And, who was Bala the banker before you became Bala the founder of Walnut AI?
Sure. Great question. And thanks for the opportunity to be on the podcast. I have seen a lot of your episodes and you're doing some really wonderful work in bridging the gap between what is tech about, what is that tech not about. You do some really... so you do some really good work in bridging the gap between what is tech and what is not tech, and bringing some real meaning behind and what's out there, So yes, you're right. Before joining Walnut, I was actually working for big banks and a very structured role and a different type of role in risk, market risk, and valuation control. And these are some of the roles I did. And over a period of time, I realized that a lot of work which I was doing was very predictable, and I was actually doing some innovation. And however, a thought came to me that there's a time I want to try something new, and instead of just participating on innovation, I want to be driving the innovation. So basically, I took the plunge. However, there was a second reason why I actually took the plunge is because I wanted to be a role model for my two teenage boys that time. Now they are out of teen. And one of the things which I felt that entrepreneurship is one of a powerful way to make changes in the society and in the working world. So it forces me to think deeply and contributing to the society. So I thought I could actually show them as being a role model and get them to also think through from this point of view, this frame of thought.
That's a very interesting perspective, actually. So curious to know, how did the kids react? So are they really, did you meet your targets of being a role model?
Yes. They are very proud of the father is an entrepreneur. They look to me and to ask for, some guidance in terms of problem solving. And they're also started investing as well, from the personal money they earn, and they put it in stocks. And they always have a discussion with me. What do you think certain sector is good? What do you think this stock would do good, etc. So yes, it has become a little bit of a platform for us also to discuss how to actually judiciously use your money, save money, as well as invest the money as well.
That's really nice, actually. So you and how old are they now?
My eldest son is 23 and my younger one is 21. And in Singapore, we have to do a national service. So after the schooling, they go to the army, and then they will actually spend 2 years in the army, and then they will actually go to the university. So my eldest son is out of the Navy, and he's now studying in an art school. He's a comic designer. And so he's gone to the art school. My younger son is a chemical engineer, and he's going to go to university after he finishes his national service, which will be another 18 months.
That's really interesting. So they got the path, and I'm sure a lot of inspiration came from yours. So that's great to know. Now, the Bala, next question. So this really, the transition from a participant to an architect is really powerful, what you have done. My next question, or I said that leads to me exactly, is about a brand. So why the name Walnut AI, first of all? And secondly, is it like, what does it symbolize in the context of AI and decision making?
Yeah. So Walnut AI was a brand which was a very consultative approach. So we had a brand designer, and they were looking for a name, and they were looking for a name which is very catchy. And when they actually interviewed some of our clients and investors, our tech partners, they had one point that like these two are the founders are actually like um, they are not very easily like falling to the trap for being like a sales. They are very, very hardcore techie, and they are very innovative, and sometimes we find to make an effort to understand that. Similar to Walnut, where you have to make an effort to open the hard case, and there is some brain insight, So a lot of our clients, when they come up with Walnut, they also tell us like, that the Walnut, there's a brain insight. Yes, it is, and so that was the thought process around it. But it was a very consultative approach. Everyone agreed that these guys should be called as Walnut, including our client. So we zeroed in on that name.
Oh, that's great. In fact, like, I love this concept of cracking the shell to bring value. Actually, yes. So just to simplify, let's crack the process. If you have to kind of explain what Walnut AI is to a non-tech friend of yours, how would you describe it? And to simplify, what actual problem are you solving?
Yeah. So what Walnut does is the data is all over us, and they are not necessarily structured data. They're all very highly unstructured. So Walnut AI is on the document AI space. One of the area we are specialists on is to read financial statements. So as you can see, financial statement has got like a balance sheet, income statement, and there are various notes to account to that statements. So what our AI does is, instead of just extracting information from the document and presenting it somewhere, it comprehends it. And after comprehending, if users make some changes to it, it understands more and more what users' finished product is like and learns from it. So that's what our, in a layman's term, what Walnut AI does, and our flagship product, which reads financial statements. So one of things which which it is being used is in banks, where a credit risk officer and his teams, they read lots of financial statement to ensure credit scoring for a particular company, for a corporate. So because there are a lot of corporates out there for banks, they use our tool to actually read this financial statement very quickly and read it and the AI learns what the financial CRO is looking the financial statement from that angle, and then learns from them, and then gives a finished product for them for credit scoring. So that's what Walnut AI does.
Now, but to see finished product, or just for the benefit of our audience, is it like it kind of comprehends what exactly because I'm sure there's the banks sit on a huge heaps of data, right? And for them manually to kind of go through the data and come up with and cull out the data and come with interesting insights is a Herculean task. So what Walnut AI does, it kind of if I say it lessens this entire process and streamlines it, and reduces the time and adds efficiency to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you can just elaborate a bit on that, it will be more helpful. When you say finished product, what exactly? Yes,
definitely. Yes, I don't know why I use the word finished product. It's like sounds like a manufacturing company. Well, what it does is looks at unstructured data in document and translates that into a structured document, or we call it clean data, and then so that it can be fed into a credit scoring system. So that's what we do. And it reads the document, the data is there across the document everywhere. It takes and puts it in a very organized format, electronic format, so that it can be pushed to the upstream system. So that's what Walnut does. Yeah.
Very curious to know what led you to, because you were in banking and you went to grapple through this entire process, and then probably this, you felt that there's a growing need to come up and, kind of harness the power of AI to come up with something so incredible or something so interesting and innovative. Is it so?
Okay. Yes. So we actually, because of the background in working in the banks, I know this problem area. And this is an area where the volumes are very high. The number of PDF financial statement to be read on a day is goes to sometimes hundreds. So we know that this area could actually have a good return on investment for our partner banks, and that led to that. And we just naturally gravitated towards this because of the knowledge about this process from the work experience. And secondly, an opportunity also came in at the same time from one of the bank. And we were not very sure about 100% how to solve it. So we actually analyzed it, and we had a deterministic AI model, which could actually give a very good scalable solution. And that's what we actually led to, spending a lot of time in developing this product. Yeah.
Well, that's great. How many years did it take you all to come up with this product?
It was different versions. So initially we had one version, which was just looking at main financials. Over a period of time, we got an opportunity to extend it to the notes to account. Below the financial statement, there are a lot of notes about the balance sheet, income statement, and all. So we started reading it. And then how do we actually then put human in the loop? So it was a phased approach, and it's been about 3.5 years. We managed to get this working very well.
So just to build on that, Bala, I would like to understand who are your clients? Do you speak to the tier one, the global banks, or you also consider smaller fintechs? And beyond banking, who else knocks on your doors where, to get their data structured?
Yeah, so mostly it's banks who come to us because we work with banks. So I think that a lot of corporates, when they approach us, they want to know whether have we done any work with the banks. And the moment we give the references, it opens the door. We did have an opportunity to work with non-bank corporates. Then we found out that, technology is solving a lot of problems. It's the domain knowledge which actually brings up to the extra mile. So we cautiously focus back our energy just to work in bank, the two corporate banking, the two on credit risk space, to continue to have our cutting edge, continue to have research, continue to make our product better in what we do good. Yeah.
Okay, so right now they die because of your domain expertise. The banks are the right fit for you right now, actually, and you can add that in that.
That too in banks, corporate banking, and that too on the credit risk space. We are very, very specialized on that. Yeah.
And how are the clients spread right now? So do you have in Singapore, and if you can just give us a little, insight into that, actually, how you have clients spread right now,
So the clients are in Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, and there's also a client in Cambodia. So the proximity in these locations helped us a lot. Soon we are having partnership and expanding to Middle East and Europe as well. And at some point of time later during the year, we'll be actually working possibly with one client in America, US. So the talks are going on right now. So this year for us is year to scale our products.
Very interesting. So, how so like every startup or every enterprise today looks at America as the as the ideal client base actually. So, is that in for Walnut AI as well, if I may ask so?
Yeah, sure, sure. Because we are not yet working with large global banks, we are working for regional banks, and the regional banks, the headquarters are here in this part of the world, like ASEAN world. So we are actually working in here, and so that that is it's within the same geographical time zone, and also it's easy to work. Once it's proved, we actually going to meet the global banks and see if we can actually have a partnership with them to put this product in their environment as well.
But that's great. Any plans to come to India as well and help add value to the Indian banks?
Yeah, we are in talks with banks in India, and we are customizing the products for and also having a strategy for how to have an operating model for the India banks. So yes, it's on cards. By end of next month, we will have some next steps on what we are going to do with banks in India. Yeah.
Interesting. One more question on your client base. Actually, how easy or tough is it to when you work with banks in different parts of the world? So how much you need to align your offering for different parts, different banks in different spaces, because I'm sure the cultural difference and the way of working is very different. So
yeah, sure. There is no actual any significant difference from a region point of view, but there is more difference from client to client point of view. And this is not necessarily anything to do with the product. It's just the sales process. How do we actually go and implement or install our solution in the banks? So essentially the focus area here is reading financial statement, and throughout the world we are actually using IFRS. So it's very uniform set of how do we actually present financial statement, and then there are some accompanying notes which says what were the policies which was required to show this presentation. So in terms of translating that data to which is in the documents to a standard set of data for credit scoring, it's not much of a difference. What is difference is going to be is from banks' priority as well. So there are some banks who are doing this program or doing this innovation on their own. So we have a process called algorithm as a service, where we actually can give them a specific customized solution to them where it fits with their overall development work. So that's algorithm as a service. The second one is just to look at the product and put it in a cloud and then install it in the bank as a standalone. The third one could be to integrate this with a loan origination system as an API, like the LOS system or loan origination system may give us the document and we'll send the clean data. So these are the nuances which we need to think through. On top of that, we also need to look at banks' priority. Like, is this a priority area for the bank? And is there an urgency? Is there something like competing priorities where the bank is working on other projects? So that how important is this project for that? So these are some of the nuances which we need to think through before we engage a bank or while we engage a bank to have a successful closure of a deal with them. Yeah.
And that's quite an insightful update actually to understand how it works. And just to, and that is really helpful. Now, from the perspective of how somebody, how your customer, if you can kind of make it more concrete and tell me how customer of your users Walnut AI in a daily practice, like, how exactly, they use it, be it some, as you mentioned, the corporate side, actually, so
Yeah.
utilize it. So how do they use it in a regular day? It's very simple as a layman if I have to understand,
Yeah. So regular day is like, some users will look at an annual report of a company, and then they want to actually read through the financials, and they will fill up a template. And this, a lot of places could be filled in manually, where they will actually put some figure here, figure there, and then try to tie, and then they will read the notes to say, look, this figure includes this, we had to exclude something, we had to include something. This would take maybe roughly about 3 to 4 hours time easily. If our AI uses that, they just drag and drop the PDF, and the tool will automatically give everything as per following financial spreading guidelines, and then it'll actually show whether something needs to be reviewed again. Usually about maybe 10% of the line items to be read again, and they would read again and then put that. This will take about maybe 15, totally together, about 15 to 30 minutes maximum to conclude a process. Yeah. And once they actually make changes to the process, the knowledge stays within the bank for the next person to pick it. Or the AI, when it processes again, it's more knowledgeable how to process certain corporate account. So that's the value of using AI. Yeah.
So, for example, if you have to just guide me in terms of the time, or in terms, how efficiency, from the efficiency, from part-time point of view, the other factors, how, if you could just throw some light on that,
Yeah.
in terms how it comes into the picture.
Yeah. So the efficiency can be seen from 3 different angles. Yeah. The first one is quickly, like 4.5 hours, it's done within like maybe 15 to 30 minutes. And so that's one part of the efficiency. Second is constantly, if people leave the organization, new people join in, there's training as well. And in their training, there could be some mistakes as well. So it avoids mistakes. The third part of the efficiency is consistency. When 2 or 3 or 10 different human beings do, there are sometimes subtle changes they bring into the way they actually report some numbers. So that also goes off because it's done by AI. There's only one way to do something. So it's very, very consistent. Even if it's making a mistake, it's consistent. So it's easy to point that out as well. So there's 3 ways by which it's actually bringing efficiency to the process.
And that speaks a lot in terms of from the bank's perspective, right? It will really streamline the process, and in terms of what I may say is like streamline the heaps of data that they have, right? So
Yes.
So Nabala, now so smart workflows actually, if we summarize, is the goal, right? Yeah. So but still automation has become still is like a fear today, right? So let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Is like the AI. Is AI replacing jobs, or is it kind of, according to you, reshaping the roles? What is your view on that?
Definitely AI is reshaping the job, actually. So currently, if you're gathering, copy pasting, manually inputting the data, if it's automating using an AI or a definitive AI, what we have here, it's giving the credit risk team more power to look some deep dive into what exactly the anomaly is, to look at the matters which is more impactful, rather than spending a lot of time collecting the data. So for this particular case of AI, which we have, it's definitely making the team more powerful and also strengthening the governance as well. Because if you have collected the data and if you have more time for analyzing the data, then the governance is also strengthened. And third thing is consistency, ensuring there's consistency of how the data has been analyzed to report as well. So these are things is not necessarily replacing human being as such. It's replacing a particular skill set, which is like, and someone is just doing copy paste and gathering data. That's replaced. But of course, it's been the human beings get an opportunity to do a little bit of a higher value added items like analysis and deep dive into certain things. So that releases time to do that.
So people need to kind of up the ante, and they need to really harness the skills of and sharpen the skills now. So it's no longer so maybe over a period of time we'll see a decrease of kind of in blue collar jobs as such, not blue collar so to speak, in the manual jobs as such in the banks and other sectors. Well, because with AI coming, right? So yeah.
Same thing. Same thing like we used to do. Last time, about maybe 20 years back, people used to do bank reconciliation. They used to really tick here, tick that, by printed bank statement and ledger, and then became semi-automatic where they did some work. Nowadays, it's highly automated. Like, we import a bank statement, the general ledger, and it throws out things like unmatched items for the accountants to look at. So it has improved anyway on that part of the journey. Now it's improving a lot on also from the corporate credit point of view.
I'm sure it also kind of enhances the customer experience, right? In the long,
yes, definitely. So if clients, for example, a credit approval is there is a backlog. If this is efficient, this is a productivity tool. That means it's much quicker to release the loan because the credit approval process, there is no backlog or anything. So it could actually bring a lot of customer satisfaction as well. That, well, I applied for a loan, I got it really quick. And I think these guys must be having some really good credit process where it's that. The second place where it can also help is for the bank to look at any and avoid non-performance loan as well. So to able to do deep dive into certain clients' analytics work, and then found out any telltale signs, and if there is anything where they find that this could be resulting in an NPL, they can actually speak to the customer as well. Look, I think the financial situation is not great. We are concerned about you paying the loan back. How can we restructure the loan so that it's easy for you as well, so that it doesn't go to NPL? So those conversations may also be beneficial from the client point of view.
Absolutely. So that's really good. So it will help in the long run. Actually, it will enhance. So AI is going to stay for the long run, right? And it's going to it's going to completely change the entire the landscape now in terms of the industry landscape as such.
Yeah, we are already surrounded by AI everywhere. So yes, it is good, and in order to make it good, we just need to have the adequate guardrails to ensure that, so that when we end up somewhere, we don't have an unexplained situation where they say, "Sorry, I know everything looks correct, but the computer says no," or that could be a situation where I cannot correct certain problem because we don't have human in the loop, So we want to avoid that situation to have the governance. And third one is to focus on a lot on de-biases. So it's a little bit biased. Then how do we actually put data sets to ensure that there is a de-bias as well in terms of the data used for the prediction of for the AI model. Yeah.
And now, but I would like to come to, the future roadmap, if I may ask, for Walnut AI. So looking at the horizon, you established a strong foothold in Singapore, right? Now, what future plans for, for revenue growth or expanding into new geographies? And which markets are you eyeing? As you already mentioned, US, you're looking at Europe as well, while expanding in the, existing markets as your next big move.
So definitely we want to go into two areas. One is geographical expansion to see if you can go to a newer country and have a bank as the first adopter so that we can scale it up across other banks as well. The second thing we are looking at constantly is to improve the product and bring two things in the product. One is to ensure that the design is efficient, even more efficient every quarter. The second thing is to bring some feature, accelerate some of the features which we have. So while it's reading the financial statements, we want to ensure that it's triangulating that information with other particular statements like bank statement or credit bureau and other information. So that's already started. The work already started. We're just looking for one of the first client to say, yes, we want to actually adopt that. There's already quite a good interest in this place where different client have said, now we've done this on phase 2, we would like to have that, phase 3, we'd like to have that. So as we as the year progresses, by end of Q1, we should have these very good clarity in terms of the time frame when we will actually release our product with the newer features of triangulation and validation.
Okay. So in terms of product announcement, you already have the phase 2 and phase 3. It's already, you have to roll it out in some time, right? Then.
Yeah, we'll be rolling it out sometime. It goes in hand. We don't want to roll it out just because we think it is good. We also want to know if there is an appetite from a client to ensure that if you roll it out, they will buy this product. So it's a partnership with the banks where they say, yes, put this in phase 2. Here is a contract with you for phase 2 with a new feature. We want this feature and do that. And so far, the discussions are really very positive and encouraging that we want that. But the biggest problem right now we want to solve is to look at the financial statement, read it, organize it, and make it standard for trade scoring. Yeah.
Okay, so focus on the core right now, and why the phase 2 area, you're just trying to test the markets and gauge
Yes.
how did absolutely.
Yeah.